We have this cultural obsession with habits. I mean, everywhere you look in today's world, it's all about building the perfect morning routine or, the perfect workout habit.
Right, doing something every single day.
Exactly, doing it every day for the rest of your life. But here's the trap, right? We treat every major goal like it's a marathon that never actually ends. And that is exactly why so many people fail to actually finish anything. They are treating a short-term project like an endless daily grind.
Right, because doing something forever is just... well, it's exhausting.
It really is.
It's totally binary. You either maintain the habit forever or you fail. And, the human brain simply isn't wired to sustain high-intensity effort without a finish line in sight.
Exactly. And this all really clicked for Gretchen Rubin. She was giving this big talk about habit formation, and afterward, a PhD student came up to her.
Oh, yeah, the thesis story.
Yeah, the student was totally stuck on her thesis, which was due in just 6 months. And Rubin realized in that moment, this student didn't need to build some unending, lifelong writing habit. Right. She just needed to finish her thesis. She needed a completely different set of tools.
Which is the brilliant distinction Gretchen Rubin makes in her book, Get It Done. A habit has no finish line. You do it, and you do it, and you keep doing it forever.
Yeah.
But a project is finite. It is a completable sprint. So if the idea of doing something forever feels like absolute drudgery to you, you should transform it into a short-term, finite project instead.
Just change the framing.
Exactly. Just change the framing.
Are you stuck because you're trying to build an unending habit when what you actually need is a 30-day sprint? Today on Deep Cuts and Deep Thinking, we are diving deep into Gretchen Rubin's book, Get It Done. We're going to explore why traditional one-size-fits-all productivity advice is a trap, how understanding your unique personality tendency is the secret to following through, and the exact steps you can take to outsmart your sneaky mental loopholes, beat procrastination, and finally get your biggest, most ambitious projects across the finish line.
It is honestly such a refreshing way to look at productivity. Because once you ditch the guilt of the forever habit, you can actually start moving forward.
Yeah, but dropping that guilt is really only step one. If you've decided to abandon the unending marathon and commit to a finite sprint, you still have to figure out how to actually launch yourself off the starting block.
Right, and the best way to do that is by leveraging what behavioral scientists call the clean slate strategy.
Okay.
There was this really fascinating study done in Peterborough, England. Researchers wanted to get citizens to adopt more eco-friendly habits.
Right.
So they handed out these green goodie bags. They had reusable shopping bags, eco-friendly dish soap, bus schedules, shower timers.
Just everything.
Everything. And weeks later, they checked in to see who had actually changed their behavior.
Well, let me guess. The goodie bags did absolutely nothing for the general population.
Precisely. It was a bust. The only people who successfully made lasting changes were the ones who had just moved into a new home. Yeah, that was the single defining factor. Not their age, not their politics, just the fact that they were already experiencing a major life change.
Okay, I have to challenge this a bit because I rearrange my home office all the time to create a clean slate.
Right, the office makeover.
Yeah, exactly. I buy the new planners, I move my desk, and I still end up watching cat videos instead of doing my taxes. Is it really just about physically moving into a new space, or is there something deeper happening cognitively?
Well, that is a great distinction. It's not just about the physical environment. It's about the disruption of contextual cues.
Contextual cues.
Yeah, when you move to a new house, your brain is forced off autopilot. You have to consciously think about where the grocery store is or, what route to drive to work.
Oh, I see.
Because your brain is already in an active, conscious state of learning, new behaviors can sneak in. Merely rearranging your desk doesn't disrupt your cognitive autopilot enough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But a true clean slate, like a new job, a new year, or even a profound shift in perspective that forces conscious action. In fact, just engaging with the ideas in this deep dive right now can serve as your cognitive clean slate because you're actively rewiring how you view your own work habits.
Okay, let's unpack this, because once you have that cognitive clean slate, you cannot just fill it with vague intentions. Vague goals are an absolute trap.
Oh, the worst.
Right. Gretchen Rubin shares this great personal failure from her own life. She put learn to watercolor on her annual goal list year after year.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Right. She bought the supplies, she took a class, and she completely failed. Why? Because learn to watercolor is just way too vague. Where is the finish line?
You can't measure it.
Exactly. How do you even measure that?
Yeah.
She finally fixed it by transforming it into a highly specific, finite project. She committed to watercoloring every single day for a year and mailing one painted postcard to a friend each month.
See, that creates a tangible finish line. You either painted the postcard and mailed it or you didn't.
Exactly. Setting a project goal is exactly like programming a GPS.
Right.
You can't just turn on the car and tell the GPS drive north. It won't know what to do. You have to give it a specific measurable destination. You need the exact street or avenue.
And once you have that specific destination, you have to actively monitor your progress along the route. Benjamin Franklin's actually a classic example of this.
Oh, yeah.
He had this virtue chart where he listed 13 virtues, things like frugality, industry, cleanliness, and he tracked them every single day.
Every day.
Every single day.
Yeah.
And the psychology behind that is profound. The mere act of self-monitoring changes our behavior because it closes the gap between our intentions and our daily reality.
Yeah.
It creates a tremendous baseline for building momentum. It's the exact same mechanism as wearing a pedometer.
Right, like wearing a fitness tracker.
Exactly. The device doesn't walk for you, but the constant data feedback keeps you self-aware in the present moment.
But, self-awareness and a clear map won't matter if you don't have the motivation to put your foot on the gas pedal. You need fuel.
You definitely do.
And there was this incredible study done at a University of Michigan call center that shows exactly where that fuel comes from. These employees were cold calling alumni to raise money for student scholarships.
Oh, that's a tough job.
It's a brutal, repetitive grind. But the researchers had some of the callers meet the actual scholarship recipients face-to-face for just 5 minutes.
It's 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes. And after that brief connection, those callers logged twice as many minutes on the phone and raised nearly 3 times as much money.
Wow. What's fascinating here is why that works.
Yeah.
The human brain is just terrible at processing abstract metrics. Raising $10,000 is an abstract concept. But a human face,
right?
A struggling student who can now afford textbooks, that triggers deep biological empathy. When you connect a mundane task to a concrete human-centric purpose, the how suddenly becomes so much easier because the task now has emotional weight.
Which brings us to the core issue. The why that drives you is deeply intrinsically tied to your specific personality.
Yeah.
And if you try to borrow someone else's why, it's going to fail.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Gretchen Rubin introduces a groundbreaking framework called the 4 Tendencies.
Right.
It's all about how our unique brains respond to expectations. There are inner expectations, the ones we put on ourselves, like a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
And outer expectations, the ones others place on us, like a work deadline. Understanding your tendency is like having a lead indicator for your own success.
Instead of just listing these out, let's look at how they actually operate in the real world. Let's say a company is rolling out a brand new project management software. How did the different tendencies react?
Perfect scenario. Okay, so first, you have the upholders. They easily meet both inner and outer expectations. They thrive on clear metrics. Rubin talks about Ursula, the songwriter, who stalled out not because she lacked discipline, but because songwriting is subjective. Without a clear rule book, upholders freeze.
Right. Then you have the obligers, and this is like the largest group of people.
Yes, by far.
Obligers are amazing at meeting outer expectations, but they really struggle with inner ones.
Right, so in our software scenario, the obliger will master the new software immediately, but only because they don't want to let their team down or anger their boss. If an obliger promises themselves they will write a novel on the weekends, it never happens. There's a story in Get It Done about an obliger who swapped single sneakers with his workout buddy.
Wait, single sneaker?
Yeah, he literally couldn't skip the gym because he had his friend's left shoe. He was outsourcing his motivation to an outer expectation.
That is hilarious. Okay, then we have the questioners. They meet inner expectations, but they resist outer ones unless those expectations make perfect logical sense.
Exactly. The questioner looks at the new company software and says, why are we switching? The old system was 20% faster.
Right.
Unless you show them the data proving the new software is superior, they will quietly refuse to use it. They can easily fall into analysis paralysis, just constantly researching the best way to do something instead of just starting.
And finally, the rebels. They resist everything, inner and outer expectations. They want pure freedom.
In a workplace, if you tell a rebel they must use the new software by Friday, they might just quit.
Wow.
Rubin shares the story of Rachel the rebel, who wanted to try out for a rowing team. She was highly motivated right up until the moment someone handed her a strict training schedule.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the second her own desire was transformed into an obligation, her motivation completely vanished.
I struggle with the rebel concept, honestly. I mean, in every corporate culture in today's world, we're taught that accountability is the holy grail.
Right.
You get an accountability buddy, you do daily stand-ups, you have weekly check-ins. Are you saying that for a large chunk of the population, modern management styles are actually backfiring?
I am saying exactly that. For a rebel, accountability is entirely counterproductive. It ignites their spirit of resistance.
Wow.
If you check in on a rebel, they will stop working just to prove you don't control them. Whereas for an obliger, that exact same daily stand-up is essential for survival. This is why traditional productivity advice is a Procrastian bed. It's a concept from Greek mythology. Procrastic was a host who invited travelers to sleep in his special iron bed. But to make them fit perfectly, he would either stretch their bodies on a rack or he would amputate their legs.
Wow. Okay, that is incredibly dark, but it makes perfect sense. We do that to ourselves constantly. We amputate our natural inclinations just to fit into some trendy productivity system we read about online.
Precisely. You have to physically place yourself in a schedule and an environment that supports your actual tendency, not the one you wish you had.
Well, let's talk about how that applies to pace. Like, are you a marathoner or a sprinter? Anthony Trollope, the famous Victorian author, was the ultimate marathoner.
Oh, yeah, his schedule was intense.
Right. He worked a day job at the post office, but every single morning, he wrote for 3 solid hours, from 5:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m.
Every day.
And if he finished an entire book at 7 a.m., he didn't take the rest of the hour off. He just pulled out a fresh sheet of paper and started the next book right then and there.
That level of methodical focus is incredible.
Yeah.
But if you are a sprinter, trying to emulate Trollope will destroy your soul.
Seriously.
A sprinter cannot write at 5:30 a.m. for months on end. A sprinter needs the looming, terrifying pressure of a deadline to kick their brain into gear.
And a lot of that ties directly into our hardwired biological rhythms, right? Like the difference between larks and night owls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Society loves to praise the early riser. We associate waking up at 4 a.m. with virtue and discipline.
Right, the hustle culture.
But neuroscience tells us this is largely genetic. It's not a matter of willpower. If your internal clock makes you a night owl, forcing yourself awake at dawn isn't going to make you a genius. It's just going to make you exhausted and resentful.
Yeah.
You have to do energy mapping, track your energy for a week, find your peak focus times, and viciously protect them.
And you have to protect your physical space, too. Charles Darwin had this gravel walking path at his home in Kent. He called it his thinking path, or his sandwalk.
I love that.
Right. He'd walk it multiple times a day to work out complex evolutionary biology in his head. His day was highly structured around his natural energy dips. But look at the modern workspace. It is fundamentally built for constant interruption.
Which is why Gretchen Rubin emphasizes the concept of friction. You have to engineer your environment so that doing the work is completely frictionless, and giving into distraction requires highly annoying effort.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you want to paint, leave the paints out on the kitchen table. If you want to stop mindlessly scrolling social media, put your phone in a drawer in another room. Make the bad habits structurally inconvenient.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because even with the perfect environment, our brains are exceptionally good at tricking us into thinking we are working when we really aren't.
Oh, definitely.
Rubin calls this procrastic clearing. It's when you have a massive thesis to write, but suddenly you decide your bookshelf absolutely must be alphabetized right this second.
It feels productive.
It does, but it's like meticulously polishing the windshield of a car when the engine is entirely missing. You are making it look nice, but you are not moving forward an inch.
I love that image because it highlights the biology of procrastination. Why do we polish the windshield? Because it gives us a cheap dopamine hit.
Right.
It provides a full sense of control when the actual engine repair is too intimidating. Your brain will actively try to derail you with these mental loopholes to avoid the discomfort of the real work.
Those loopholes are dangerous.
They are. Have you ever wondered where the famous Las Vegas slogan comes from?
What happens in Vegas?
Exactly. Back in the early 2000s, an advertising agency ran a focus group. And these middle-aged working moms from the Midwest admitted they were taking secret trips to Las Vegas to drink and gamble and lying to their families about it.
Wow.
Yeah, they viewed Vegas as this magical zone where normal rules were suspended. The advertisers seized on that cognitive compartmentalization, and what happens here stays here was born.
That is wild.
It is the ultimate loophole phrase.
Yeah.
Our brains constantly try to invent Vegas zones where our goals magically don't apply.
We use these loopholes on ourselves constantly. Like, there's moral licensing. I ate a salad yesterday, so I've earned the right to eat an entire cake today.
Right.
We use past good behavior to justify present sabotage. And the false choice loophole, I can either work on my novel or I can be a good parent. As if those are the only two options in the universe.
But the most insidious one is the one-coin loophole.
Oh, yeah.
This comes from Erasmus's growing heat paradox. The idea is, if you give a poor person one single coin, they aren't rich. If you give them a second coin, they still aren't rich.
Right.
So the brain rationalizes, well, one coin doesn't make a difference, so skipping my workout just this one day won't matter.
But why is the brain so eager to accept that flawed logic?
Because of cognitive dissonance. Acknowledging that we are failing our goals is painful. So to protect our ego, the brain structuralizes an excuse. By focusing only on the micro level, the single coin, or the single missed workout, we avoid the guilt of the macro level failure.
But of course, a heap is only built one coin at a time.
Exactly. Every single choice matters.
And in the current era, these loopholes have evolved into sneaky modern procrastination. Like, look at Procrastic scrolling. It's easy to call it a lack of willpower, but that's not fair.
No, it isn't.
Those social media apps are mathematically designed by thousands of engineers to exploit the dopamine reward system in your brain.
Exactly. And when you combine algorithmic temptation with something like procrastinating, putting off your project because you were supposedly waiting for the perfect moment to launch or the perfect mentor to reply, you get completely paralyzed.
But how do we know if we're procrastinating or if we're just legitimately preparing, like a chef doing their mise en place, getting all the ingredients chopped before cooking? If I spend 3 days organizing my research notes, isn't that necessary prep work?
This raises an important question, because the line between preparation and procrastination feels incredibly blurry when you are in it. But the acid test is this: action is the antidote to anxiety.
Action is the antidote to anxiety.
Yes. If you are continually researching and tweaking the plan without taking the smallest, most microscopic first step, like writing a single sentence of the actual thesis at 10 a.m., then you are procrastinating. The research has become a hiding place. To defeat this, Gretchen Rubin suggests safeguarding.
Safeguarding, like building a fence around your time.
More like algorithmic if-then planning for your own brain. You defeat the excuse before it even happens.
Okay, how?
You write down, if my internet goes out, then I will organize my physical notes. Or, if I feel the urge to scroll social media, then I will stand up and get a glass of water.
Oh, I see.
You completely remove the burden of decision-making in the moment of stress.
So you've dodged the loopholes, you've set up your safeguarding, and you are finally making progress. How do you maintain that momentum all the way to the finish line without burning out?
Rubin suggests throwing out the anxiety-inducing to-do list and replacing it with a ta-da list.
A ta-da list, I like that. Yeah. It completely flips your perspective. Instead of staring at the terrifying mountain of work you still have ahead of you, you write down everything you have already accomplished. Reflecting on past progress gives you the psychological safety and momentum to keep going.
And part of maintaining that momentum is realizing that taking a step backward isn't a failure.
Right.
The executives at Pixar learned this the hard way with Toy Story 2. Just months before the release date, they looked at the rough cut and realized it was a total disaster. The jokes were flat, the story lacked heart.
So what did they do?
So John Lasseter called an emergency weekend summit. They completely scrapped years of work, Totally rebuilt the story from scratch, added Jessie the cowgirl, and ended up with a masterpiece.
Wow.
Revision, and even starting over completely, isn't a sign that you are failing. It is a vital, expected part of getting a big project done right.
So what does this all mean? It means we have to fiercely protect our energy along the way. And the best way to do that is to understand the crucial psychological difference between a reward and a treat.
Yes, huge difference.
If you tell yourself, I only get a coffee if I write 1,000 words, that is a reward. It turns the project into a chore and the coffee into a transaction.
Right. Rewards often backfire because they reinforce the idea that the work itself is suffering. But a treat is something you give yourself unconditionally, just because you want it.
Like what?
Reading a chapter of a favorite book, doing a crossword puzzle, listening to a deep dive. Treats restore your self-command. When you give yourself a treat, you feel cared for, which means you actually have the emotional bandwidth to keep pushing forward.
Which brings us to the ultimate finish line.
It does. We spend so much time obsessing over how to finish the project, how to optimize the schedule, how to hack our tendencies, how to beat the loopholes. But consider this. What if the final product isn't actually the point? When you cross that finish line, the thesis or the novel might be great. But what if the true value of the project is simply the resilient, focused, self-aware person you are forced to become in order to get it done?
If you found this podcast interesting, please like and subscribe.